Okay, I have about 4.5 minutes to cover this because I'm going to attach a video beyond this one. There's a Gunk, probably number 15. Homer Cocktail 4 is the site. And a lot of this Gunk started, I was doing errands, I was reflecting on life, speculating on graduation in May of 2011. The school I went to had a falling out with a professor that I had 3 classes with, and plus a module class at an Ontario program. The worst grade I got in this class was I got 2 ABs and 1 A. He was on Channel 4, I guess, talking about ecological issues. And I'm going to try to attack this one the same way that I attacked my claustrophobia. I went to New York City. I think Harrison Ford, when he studied for Indiana Jones, one way to attack your fear of spiders, jump in the pit of spiders, right? Or whatever it is. And I'm going to move on here. 98% of my experience at pits, or if not more, seem to be pleasant. And my mom was dying of emphysema, and came to move from Northern California to Southern California. She had been up there for about 7 or 8 years, and she came here in '98. She had tubes down her throat, which was going to be my last semester at Pitzer. This professor wanted me to write a 2-page essay. He called me small potatoes and some other things. And he was what's called my advisor. He wasn't just a professor. He's a guy telling me what the class I need to graduate, etc. He wrote one of my recommendations for my Venezuela trip. He asked me to interview for him, ironically, because he was up for tenure in '98. And I actually, which is funny, before the shit hit the fan and everything, I wrote a letter of recommendation for him for tenure. It was going to be a face-to-face interview, except for I was in Venezuela for a few weeks, and came back. Hugo Chavez was running for office then. And let me see how close to 4.5 minutes I am. Okay, I got 2 minutes. I'm going to run over this as quick as I can. And this is about the most embarrassing thing I'll talk about. I was disappointed in my dad. That we went and got the unofficial transcripts, we celebrated. And then he just kept going on about the one circumstance that this professor took to stand against me for a 422 terrorist threat. That's a penal code, 422. And they say a terrorist threat. Never heard of it, which means there's no mens rea. Has to be unconditional, unequivocal, and immediate. I sent an email to some staff members, not to him. I learned in Naval Chin's class, a threat has to be directly to the person. But one of the people that got it was his wife, who works at the school as well. Her name's Suzanne. And the way they run the email is to put the first letter, so it'd be her letter, and then the next 7 letters, if your last name goes that far. So it would have been P. Falsty, okay, if it was him, but it wasn't him. It was S. Falsty and some other professors, because I felt like they were giving the runaround. The psychological defense mechanism that they call that is avoidance. There's such thing as a rationalization, projection, and some other things. The best thing is to handle problems right on the head. But this happened in January of 2000. And they'd gone a full year without returning calls or emails. And I got frustrated, and I threatened to kick his ass over an email. And I watched 12 Angry Men in high school, and I didn't know it was illegal. In essence, there's no mens rea there. They threatened legal action on me. I thought they meant a libel or slander, and that was through the Dean of Students office. So there's less than a handful of people I've ever had problems with at that school, and even with that professor, most of the time it was cordial. So I'm going to show you who he is right now, and let's see if we're at 4.5 minutes. And we'll talk about this over the months. 4.5 minutes, perfect. Have a good time.
Low-flow toilets and showers save water, although this shower seemed extreme.
That's it? Why? Oh my God. That's really bad. I think I'm gonna go home. How people have to get used to that?
Turns out they don't have to get used to that. There was was a switch that wasn't flipped. But fourth-year student Alec Letts says he'll give the extra low flow a try.
If I'm just shampooing or something, I don't need to use all that water.
Construction on the Student Center, which includes solar panels, finishes in about a month. For environmental professor Paul Falstich, it's like turning the entire campus into a classroom.
We're creating an environment in which learning and living are blending together, and it's a living laboratory for us. It's very exciting.
Now, some of these changes are on a rather grand scale, but many you can try at home. For more ideas on environmentally friendly changes you can make, just log on to the Going Green section of our local website, knbc.com. Pablo Pereira, Channel 4 News.
And here with me now is Pitzer College professor Paul Falstich. What else have you done, Professor, to make the campus more environmentally friendly?
Well, at Pitzer, we're trying to develop balanced whole people. And one thing that involves is creating a balanced whole campus as well as a balanced whole curriculum. So we're trying to infuse our curriculum in our entire campus with green ideals and to bring these to the students in their everyday living. I like to think of our education with the metaphor of a tree, where the roots bring in diverse nutrients and the trunk forms a solid base and the branches reach out in different directions.
I like what you said in that story about how the dorms are like a living laboratory. This is something where the students, they get used to the low-flow toilets, they get used to those showers. And once you're used to that and you've lived that way for a while, it's kind of hard to go back.
That's right.
And they're going to take that with them, so that's part of their education.
Absolutely. One of the things about education today is that mostly it's hearsay. We learn things from teachers, from books, from television, but it's mostly secondhand knowledge. This is a way of directly experiencing what it is you're learning, and I think it infuses in you much more deeply, and it does become part of your habitual living.
Right, because you're doing it every day. Now, your environmental studies program isn't just something that you're doing on campus. You're also branching out in the community. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, at Pitzer we have a social responsibility requirement before you graduate, and so we, throughout our curriculum, get students out into the community in various efforts. For example, I oversee a project called the Leadership in Environmental Education Partnership, which partners with our local school district to bring outdoor environmental education to elementary schools and the students there who have very little exposure to the natural world. We train college students to develop a science curriculum and then teach it in a natural setting to these elementary school kids.
Now, I know you have an organic farm on campus. Is that, do you have the school kids coming in and helping out with that, or is that part of just what your students on campus are doing?
We have different plots. We have a community garden as part of it, where community members have their own plots and get to grow their fruits and vegetables. And we have segments that are dedicated to students as well. And then what gets grown in the organic garden gets used in one of our on-campus cafes. We have chickens, the eggs get used in the meals, and lemons for lemonade. It's really quite wonderful.
Now, are there other institutions that are going green the way Pitzer is? Are there other universities or college campuses, or are you in the forefront still?
I like to think we're in the forefront,
Yeah.
but I also like to think that it's happening everywhere. Environmental issues are no longer just kind of a fringe concern. It's permeating our society, and it's really mainstream now. So these issues are being taken very seriously by colleges and universities around the campus, around the country.
Yeah, and students have such open minds, usually. But, it scared me a little bit when I saw the water trickling out of those showers. We only have about 30 seconds left, but can you tell me how have the students responded to these green dorms?
The initial reviews are wonderful. Students are really appreciating the efforts that we're making on campus, and it's pretty plush living conditions.
Yeah,
they
look really
feel
nice.
luxurious.
Yeah.
So it's very exciting for us and the students. I think it's going to go a long way to making our campus more of what we want it to be, an integrated learning environment.
And more of those dorms to come.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, Professor Paul Falstich from Pitzer College.
Pleasure.
Chris?
Okay, that's one of 10 social write-offs I have in my life. You go your way, I go mine. You guys have a good time.